In this video, I'm going to show you how to create documents that you can use for formative or summative assessments. First, let's talk about formative assessments. There are a couple of different ways to create and send out documents to your students to assess their understanding. A quick poll is probably the fastest and easiest method to send a document to your students. So let's look at how to send out a quick poll. The first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you've begun class. This is the only way students can log into their calculators. So go up here to the right-hand upper corner and click Begin Class. So once class is started, then you can go over here and you can send them a quick poll. So this little box with the green check is the quick poll button. So go ahead and click that. So then it opens up this box and you can choose the type of questions you want to send your students, multiple choice, open response, a coordinate point. So I usually send out my students just an open response explanation. If you are working with equations, you can send out a box where they can type in just their equation, right, and y equals or f of x. But as I said, I usually just send out an explanation, open-ended box. So let's go ahead and insert that. So now you can see the document here. You can actually type in your question here and then send it. Usually what I do is I have things pre-planned. So when the students walk in, I usually have a warm-up on the smartboard, and usually in the directions I'll tell them to log in and submit their answer on their calculator. So since everything is on the smartboard, I do not put anything in this window here. You can write, submit warm-up answer if you want, right? So you can type something in there if you want and send it out to them, but a lot of times I don't put anything. I literally just send it to them blank. So to send the document to your students, once you have everything that you want, you just click Start Poll. It'll send the document to the students. So this just allows them a space to type in their answer. So the students type their answer in here. You can see who's working on the problems over here, what students are working on the problem. You can see how many of your students have already submitted it. So once the students have had their time to work on it, then I go up here and click the Stop Poll button. But before I do this, I actually warn the students because they get really upset if they're trying to submit their answer and you stop the quick poll because they can't submit their answer then. So I usually tell them, all right, I'm getting ready to stop the quick poll in 10, 9, 8, 7, I count down. So then, all right, so we're going to stop the quick poll. So once we stop the quick poll, you can review the students' work with them. So usually I show it on the smartboard and then we go through questions. I know we can't see anything here because I'm not in class and students aren't working. But you can go through and you can ask the students, which problem do they think is right. So a lot of times, like we'll have 20 students will all have one answer, maybe 10 will have something else. Sometimes we have equivalent forms, so like we'll talk about that. Is there more than one correct answer up there? If there's a lot of students have the same wrong answer, then we might talk about what misconceptions the students have, like what do they think that the students did wrong. So I don't usually show like the students the names of who has them wrong, so people don't get embarrassed. So that's just a good way to talk about common misconceptions. So that's one method that I use. Another thing is another way you can use the quick poll is throughout your lesson. You can send out questions just to assess understanding, like periodically if the students are working on things throughout the lesson. So in that instance, like I will have like a worksheet, or not a worksheet, a document that's already been pre-made that has questions that I want to ask the students. So this allows me to be able to send those quick polls out faster. You can just go over here. You can copy the question that you want to ask the students. Just highlight it, Control C, go back over to your Nspire software, hit Control V, and then paste it in there. And then you can send that out to the students and have them answer the question. You can also send out graphs to students, so not just text. You can send out graphs. So if you go over here back to my document, I could go down here and select this graph, and then I can put that in the document. So the problem that I found though is if you notice here, I'm using a Google Doc. For some reason, I cannot get the diagrams from Google Docs to actually transfer over to my Nspires. So I usually have to open it up as a Word doc, and then from the Word document, like you can copy it from there. So Control C, go back over to your Nspire software, Control V, and then now you can import the picture into your document there. So I'm not sure why Google Docs doesn't work, but that's just one of those workarounds that I've had to do, that I've noticed. All right, so that's the formative assessment portion of it all. So another way to assess student understanding is a more of a formative assessment. So to do that, let's go ahead and let's go back to my class. So I go to my class button, and if you notice here, there's this button with the three little arrows, or three little hats and an arrow going in. So that's saying send things to class. Then this one is collecting things from the class. So I want to send the students an assessment, like a longer assessment. So when I click send to class, it opens up my folder, and I have all of my my TI-Nspire TSN files like in my TI-Nspire folder. So then I go down here, let's say we're working on rational expressions, so I want to send them a rational expressions quiz. So I'll select that, click next. It asks me who do I want to send this to, so I want to send it to the entire class. So I select the entire class, hit finish, and then now it'll send it to the entire class. So once the students are done, they cannot hit like a submit button to submit their answers. You actually have to collect it from the class. So once the time limit is up for the quiz, then you go up here and you have to collect it from the class. So you collect the quiz that you sent to them. So you have to select the name of the quiz, select next, everybody in the class, hit finish, and then now if you look over here, it'll show you that you sent 33 out and you collected 33 back, right? So it says 0 out of 33 because we have no students that are actually working on the quiz because we're not in class right now. So I wanted to show you what the actual quiz looked like. So let's go back to here. So if I click this, it will show you down here, like, whoops. Let me go back. Oh, well, it popped it up here. I double clicked it. So if we look here, you can see the quiz. You can see what the quiz looks like. So I just put in a few answers. I think I have like 9 questions on here. So I just asked the kids different rational expression questions, and they type their answer in down here. And then you can go back and grade it later. So once you have collected the quiz from the class, like I said, it puts it over here. You can double click on that, and then if I double click on it, you can see there's all these little red heads. That's because nobody's actually logged in to actually take this quiz. But once they do, you actually can double click on it and then open it. You can open up the quizzes, and then you can look at the quizzes and grade. You can grade the quizzes from there. So that'll be another video that I'll show you.